All right, everybody, let's get on to it for Tuesday. What's going on? Settle on in. Welcome back. You guys had a good weekend, and let's just get to business. Get the Trading View package here. Get for Harmonic Pattern Collection for Trading View. You know what to do. Send your username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. Everyone else that's new, welcome. It's been a steady influx of new folks. Great to see. Just register now. Start your journey with the free materials there, then go think about subscribing. Get the free trials first, guys. You know how I operate. Okay, let's jump into Bitcoin. Who's frustrated? Raise your hand if you're having fun with this volatility, or you're ready to just kind of like go on vacation for the rest of the year. I think that shakeout last week was something else. I just still wrapping my head around it, other than the fact that you've got two classes of crypto. There's Bitcoin and there's everything else. But what is the big number is 111, guys, and we're still holding. I mean, we flirted with 107. I said 107 on Thursday was really critical, and I just want to kind of highlight what is happening immediately is that we talked about that whole wick getting retested, and you did it. I mean, depending, what is that, Bitfinex? We were 104 over the weekend? Yeah, I guess we were. Coinbase 4, oh, that was last week, but we're still in this whole lower consolidation, threatened 111. Now we're 114. 111 still the number, and I'm going to stick with this, that the whole measured zone, just to be clear, has been 102.5 to 111. That's the measured zone. And again, a lot of times people will question, where did the numbers come from? I mean, first of all, how did you know 1618 was going to happen for the cycle, and then where did those numbers come from? Well, this is still our fundamental argument for Bitcoin. It is a full cycle price discovery, 1618, guys. So, that's where the number comes from. Oh, perfect. Got it. 1618, 102.365. Call it 102.5. And then the secondary number is, you guys know I like to create ranges with the numbers, and always a rational kind of allowance for what I call overspill, that trading behavior beyond the measured level. It's, it can turn exactly, but that's not the common situation. That zone on the top end, the 1902 is like 118, 117.5-ish. So those are your big numbers. You guys know I like to just, big part of why we do what we do here is to define precise levels, harmonic levels. And we're obviously month number 4 into an ability to get above 1902. So I'm going to say, I can't really expect for any kind of blow off to the extreme numbers until we legitimately clear the 1902. We were really close. That's why this is stuck. I think we'll break it free. I still think we are, we'll go extreme expansion like we did every other time. And that for us, let's say beyond 118 close. Okay, is a 2618. That's just how it goes. We did this with gold. We're going to do it with Bitcoin. That's the harmonic framework. Now, if something pops up, let's say like a big 3-bar breakdown, or we get some kind of massive reversal signal indicator, whatever, then maybe we'll have to reassess. But we're still considering this uptrend. And for us, the other aspect that we've talked about is simple ability for the indicators to not only, maintain a 50 level, that's the combo. That's one of your primary trending assessments, guys. And then on the bottom here, amplified RSI. That's our modified, accelerated, amplified RSI, harmonic RSI, harmonic accelerated RSI, however you want to think about it. Shows us we're continuing to just hug the 70 line. Every time we pop out, it's only a pause. And again, the way we look at that is we're not even concerned about that until it rolls out and cracks the 50 line. And that's a ways. So we're still pausing. I know a bunch of people threw in the towel. I felt like I wanted to throw in something, a rag, a tissue, paper towel. I mean, after that shakeout from 10 days ago, I wanted to throw something. Yet here we are. Are we supposed to ignore that? And that's, on some coins, I don't think you can, because they are, they did some crazy flush out numbers. And so my takeaways from that flush out from like 10 days ago, guys, is still greater differentiation. Okay, T coin versus Bitcoin. Most of them are, to some degree, a T coin, toilet coin, S coin, shit coin, relative to what Bitcoin's really doing. There are exceptions, Solana, Binance. I think they're definitely, but the shakeout that went down, especially for those that were not trending, was devastating. That was devastating. I'll just bring up, I'll get to Ethereum here in a second, but again, an idea that I had that I thought was a good idea. Maybe Crypto.com has this recovery thing. Maybe Crypto.com as a brokerage should be worth a lot more. And I talked about this, and again, I brought this up when it was spiking to 30 cents, and it was an obvious overstretched 3618 extension. But I said, let this come back down. Well, that shakeout took CRO all the way back to 7 cents. And again, it's like, make sense of that. Make sense of that. Fundamentally, that's not a bad idea to say, hey, why wouldn't, if these exchanges, you see what happened to Robinhood and Binance Coin and Coinbase and all, and they're like $50-100 billion entities, why wouldn't Crypto.com become a $10 billion exchange, or a $50 billion exchange is probably better, because it was just 10 billion. Why not? If crypto is going to be huge, even if this thing is a kind of like a second cousin, second fiddle to the major exchanges, maybe it's worth more. So I've been looking at this. The crazy thing is we had patterns. Everything was at 8 cents, and by definition, that is a type 2. But no way in hell you'll be able to catch that at 8 cents with that kind of flash crash. I'm looking at this stuff. I think there's things that are valid, remaining valid, but then there's a whole slew of stuff, in my opinion, that's been kind of like, that's just been trashed. So this is one that, I'll watch it. I'm in here. I'm in no rush. I think it's a longer term play, but it's technicals have to, this retracement that we've been looking at. Well, you got work to do. Nothing really there. I knew that was a one-off thing, but again, you look at like Binance Coin, guys, and we've been admiring this chart for months. Remarkable. And it went full 1618, 1902. Okay, which is like 1150, 1170, and then the only thing I have left, and I think two things. One, this is the perfect kind of trending creature. You're buying on retracements that has a great chance to do 3618 expansion possibilities. I don't think that's crazy to say, Binance Coin gets crazy over exploded 2100 on this cycle. I mean, you got everything there. This is what Bitcoin should already be doing, quite frankly. You get to the 1618, you have a pause. This is just anatomy of an exponential, excuse me, of a extreme parabolic expansion. I mean, exponential, I'll get to that in a second, because that's the other way to maybe start thinking about targets. But there's the 1618 right here at like 1,000. 2-3 week pause. You even retested it and trying to explode, make your way back up. I like that. And if this is a $153 billion entity, why couldn't crypto.com be 10, 20, 50 billion at some point? Yeah, again, a lot of things got separated out in that latest storm. And then the ones that are, I think, trending, progressing is probably a better word, because I mean, 2,100 on Binance Coin, and we're at 1,100. If that's our strategy, and we're at 1,100, then we're just buying on retracement, guys. And even just at this point, trendline breakout. Because what? It's October 21st. We're really close to where, things are supposed to be popping off, right? Break out this downtrend. Whatever that was, down to 900. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but it's not as crazy as some of those penny crypto that lost a whole bunch of, had a huge 90% flush out on top of already being 90% flushed out. Binance Coin, that's one. The other that I think we have to really watch closely is Solana, because of the big weekly crab pattern. And not only that, it's a type 2, guys. So I'm watching the completion here, ideal reversal, actually. The confirmation's not in the best spot, but I'm monitoring this because check out what happened across the board last week. Everything is under 50. There's HSI under 50. Combo indicator under 50. That should probably be under amplified. And then amplified here at the 50. Gotta watch this area now. Because if we pause and then have one more roll down, that'd be it. That would kind of seal the deal for what Solana has fulfilled within the 1-2 framework. Type 1 XA level, again, not ideal confirmation, kind of ballpark-ish, but really got to watch this. Solana especially. It's amazing. The 1-2 that we went through, where we were target 2 right at the low in April, and then we come all the way back where 106 to 227 was the return move, and then we responded in ideal fashion. So we've seen a lot of these patterns, guys. We've seen a lot of big weekly and monthly patterns. What's the difference with the other ones is they smash them. This one spent 3-4 weeks up here before that bigger breakdown candle. So, yeah, I would need to see, check this. Okay, I need to see something even on the daily for Solana. Basically hold at this butterfly target 1, which was right in the same area. 245. 245 is the big weekly XA, and then 240 on the butterfly. I'm watching right here, literally 190. Okay, but if we roll over, or even I'd say a 1-day violation under like 180, 182, something like that, target 2 is just itching to get hit. So still down, and trying to watch for this turnaround. HSI is poking above the 50, but yeah, amplified here, Not yet. That's the other key metric. And Solana as a pattern, guys, I have to respect what it's presenting to us. It got rejected off the type 2. Yeah, and that was 227. We're 196. No big deal. Hope for a retest. 210, 220. But again, I think the target 2 down here at 154 on whatever this correction ends up being is just begging to get hit. And then we'll deal with larger possibilities later. This is a different chart. I also have to say this. This is a different chart than Solana's different than Binance Coin. Binance Coin is full price discovery. Okay, this one failed to go price discovery, and I'm just, maybe later we'll get above this hop level. We will clear out, which is really the prior all-time high, because this is still kind of 886 territory, by the way, which is like that, which is 230. You see all the stuff that's stacked for Solana. I mean, don't want to fight it. It's pretty clear. And the 1.0 is like 260. Rejected. You're one more weekly bar away from a full T2, and I'm just gonna have to wait on that. There's nothing there at this point, and if anything, the weekly shifted 2 weeks ago. Still on an uptrend, but look, can we come back, retest that channel, stack it like that? Couple more. What do you guys want to look at? What's going on, everybody? Great to see you. How do we get the combo indicator? Okay, well, that's a great, thanks for asking. Get over here, harmonictrader.com. Register now as a basic member. And here's the free link. I'll put it in there. Okay, but all you need to do is send your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. Don't forget, we've got the new combo diamond indicator. All right, and that is something you will get sent videos. Anybody who hasn't received videos or you haven't received kind of the setup email, you can DM me on Discord and also just access a lot of it on Discord here. So while we're doing that, let's give away a 30-day package to the next person that types in HPC30. And then you send me your TradingView username, your email address, and full name, and we'll give you a 30-day package. I'll get back into giving a few more. Also, we're going to get ready for this event that's going to be November 6th, 2 weeks from Thursday, right here on the channel. Okay, so no extra link. It's going to be a public HPC strategy session. It'll be kind of a more of a dedicated how-to. It'll be November 6th. You guys have any questions, you reach out to me, but just show up, hit subscribe, hit the like button to get those notifications too. Yeah, there you go. What's up, Candace Jacqueline? You are the winner, so please send me your email address and your TradingView username. We'll give away one or two more, guys. I haven't given away it in a lot in the last few weeks, and we'll start revving up. I mean, now's the time. Let's take a quick gander at the total and related total indices. Crypto total market cap is like this right here, stuck at 4 trillion. Okay, how are we doing within the 1618? We got real close. I think if Ethereum wasn't such a drag, there's 1618 territory. Right there, 4.3-ish. Got really close, and I still think we'll tag it. That's our minimum price discovery target, has been for a while. All-time high was 4.27. Really close. Really close. So, it's a pause. I think a lot of people are frustrated because you're 4 months. You're essentially back. You could even say the highs for May were just retested a week ago. So total time, not a lot of progress. And for total in crypto market cap here, just remember we need to bust the 1618, and you would probably need to close above that with one or two monthly bars to really trigger the expansion. It's not there yet. I thought we'd be busting it, and we better be busting it soon. And I expect we need to see a big fat candle kind of like that to do so. Nasdaq just dropped 50 points in a heartbeat. What was that? Nasdaq's flat on the day, now down 5, was up 50. Hold on one second. And we'll talk about gold, down 225 today. Silver almost down $4. Dow's up 275, and then the S&P is flat too, plus 2. But listen, the total index, Bitcoin dominated really, and I'll get to Ethereum in a second, but I still say we're riding this channel, and until we can see some breakdowns, we're going to be stuck in that channel, and you're going to have to deal with this kind of volatility and this kind of sideways action. It just, that's crypto. I think a lot of it's because there's so much hype built into it. You get a big move, everyone's hyper focused on that it's going up, but then comes right back down and bangs that 4 times before making any move. Like Bitcoin, we're still here overbought, trying to roll out, but I'm not worried about it until we either take out lows like that or take out the 50 level. Okay, so again, watch that closely. Could be a little bit of a monthly pullback here or a pause, but I don't know. I just don't see how this thing, with what everyone's targeting, doesn't get a bid towards the end of the year. If not, it's going to be the biggest letdown in crypto cycle history. Total 3, or maybe just go others, because that's the rest of it. Take out the top 10 and you got this. I'm really surprised, and I've said this before, because our assumption that was a C point, what we were really expecting here was this wedge, and I'm still wanting to see this wedge, long-term monthly wedge, break out, but with this month's action and that big flush, you pretty much sucked out any of the time possibilities until we were to get back above like 345, 350. So that's a lot of work you'd have to do. Like the rest of them, this kind of lower wick situation, just let's be aware of it, that really we're kind of looking at a range bound grind until we can really break out. And we're not doing that. And what the whole monthly pullback did was eviscerate the time momentum. If there was any time momentum where the lows way back in March, April were a slow build, and then we'd at least maybe even get to the top end of the range at 400 billion. No, sorry. So what do we got? We're still 10 days till the end of the month. It's a lot of time. We got to see where this candle finishes up. 3-bar low, in my opinion, guys, under crypto total market cap, and you can look at Bitcoin and the rest of them. A close under a 3-bar low would be troubling. That's essentially under like 220 billion. So we're still in between. We know we're not rocketing just yet, but boy, that it kind of sucked the air out of the room. I think we just got to give it more time, and it depends on Bitcoin and depends on Ethereum. And I think Ethereum. Remember, I was skeptical. I mean, it just is, and sometimes even after all the time I've been working with this, I need to be kind of I need some cold water in the face. Because we were up at 4,700 and we said, well, we had this crab pattern, and it's not the greatest crab patterns, but certainly target one at 34.89 is the expected reaction from a structure like that. We banged 4,700 4 times and finally made that run down there. Now we have this bullish bat as well, 3,500. Again, I just sometimes I get a little dismissive on the patterns where I don't trust the software enough. And this comes with experience. There's a reason why the pattern was generated. But I was saying maybe it's not as strong because we're grabbing off of an intermediate high. But remember, I did say all the other alignments, the B point, the ABCD, the 3618, they all lined up to give us at least a reaction. And that's what went on. That's what's going on. And then in the process of getting there, we go bullish bat pattern inside this range. So 3,500 is absolute support, and I would still be looking for that to get tapped because we did the type 1, and now we're in the process, believe it or not, of the return phase. I think this 4062 target 1 on Ethereum is going to be an issue until we can get for the full retest. That's 35, 37-ish, 34.89-ish. And I'm just going to stay firm on that. It's not what I want to tell you. I want to tell you, go buy Ethereum with everything because it's about to go all-time highs. No, it's not ready. It's like Solana. Solana finished the deal that it had to do. And now it's just not ready. It just has to go through some retracement digestion phase. And then we'll see how far that digestion goes. A couple more. Awesome. Thank you. Congratulations to the winner. Yeah, just hit me up. Okay, great. We'll do it one more time. And great to see everybody else. What's going on? David, what's happening? Victoria, Joe, MC, Frash, Brab, AA, CJ, CG. Let me know if there's anything else you guys want to look at. I do want to bring up, the big ones like XRP. What are we doing here? I mean, what's it doing other than this sideways big daily? Now you have a diamond. I mean, it's kind of confounding, this big wick. And I still say it's a wait and see, but you do have a lot of things that were generated on that throwdown, whether it was Fugazi or not. But the only thing I care about, and XRP has to prove it to me now, you need to print like 2 more days. We better be breaking out, and I would say above like this 260, 270 area in the next couple of days to trigger something out of this hole. And it is a hole. Again, I think it's a time issue that if you just sit down here and you chew up time for the next few weeks, that mutes anything that could happen towards the end of the year. That's the way I look at it. I also think I'll talk about stocks in a second. We need to think about January, okay? Because all of these targets and all of the action anticipated is something where it goes into January and then you take a chill. And if that happens sooner, it's a thought. I said that everything I'm targeting was into January, maybe even early January. A few reasons, tax reasons. People might be pulling the trigger early January just to plug, to capture gains at lower rates. For crypto, I think that the cycle stuff, where you are in terms of what's expected post halving, the year after, time's almost up. A couple others that I just want to highlight, like Monero and Zcash, these privacy coins, did the one, Monero did a type 1, type 2, and your 313, I'm going to stick straight up, say, give me a target 2. Zcash was kind of impressive for a while. There you go. Now, had the throwdown, now you're back right at 300. I mean, this is what should be happening right now. In my opinion, there should be 10 or 20 of these just popping off like that. Yet you got nothing. You got a very select few. Zcash just mind blowing. And if you want to know what the possibility here, we're up almost full recovery now. Generally like that. 886 full swing is like 340, 330. There should be a lot of these, and they're not. They're not. You don't have this. I think it's just absolutely insane. Yeah, I had a bunch of Zcash about a year ago, and just wrote it off as kind of a dead. The patterns weren't going to play out. I think you have to go all the way back to 24. There's a bunch of stuff down here. It's 25 to 35 or 25 to 45, but now that's 300. So I want this to be a sign of the times. I want to find other things that are setting up like this and could give us those kind of moves. They are. I'm really reaching to find them. I said Monero, and I do like Monero because of the longer term trending possibilities here. Zcash was like this for a long time. And this is 20 to 40 area, and then you break out. Well, here's another opportunity, but there's Monero. Monero was, what at the low was like 125, now 300. And there's your all-time range. Let me get a I need a longer term chart. There you go. 20. There's a monthly. So this is also why we want to be looking at clearly trending creatures on the weekly. We can't say 95, 98% of crypto is like this. In fact, it's the 2%. It's the 3% that look like this. That's why that's so critical. There's others. I just think it's, we're not going to get bigger moves unless you have major development like that. Hold on. Where was the other one I wanted to bring up? Oh, here's Tau Bittensour. I'm still watching this stuff. Tau is trying to do something for the first time in a long time. That was a major washout. Not a heck of a lot to go on here other than massive support at 250. Where was the daily? There you go. And there's the daily right now. So a whole lot of back-to-back things. I think for the first time, Tau might be trying to make a move. Not yet. I haven't done anything yet. But we can say this is kind of trending. You can say it's not great, but over the last couple of years, that's your history. And we did the type 2, and that was the thing on a lot of these. They hit crazy patterns where they put in the next confirmation. I'll want to see that. I will treat that as a type 2 reversal possibility, and then Tau off of that bat should get to 540 or higher. The other one is, well, there's two. So I've been looking at FET, and I told you guys FET wasn't ready. Great patterns, no confirmation, and we were talking about that at like 60 cents. Now it's 26. It came down and did the full retest. Okay, a little bit. This is definitely different, not trending. Maybe we could get, if we got a confirmation signal down here, I'll show you what I'm getting at. But okay, can we stick something like that? Need a dot. down here. And this just completed the check back, but really important to understand this. It's why we look for confirmation. Okay, you checked it back. You're at least 2 more weeks, guys, not days, weeks, before that would even generate a signal. There's nothing here, especially after the last overbought signal. And we've been talking about this for a while, of watching how this could develop. And we've been looking at it, like I said, since 60 cents. You're now 26. There's still not a signal. Should be turning around, should be putting in ideal confirmation. It's not. But I'm still watching. I'm not giving up on this stuff, not just yet, but it's like that one. The other one is render, and you're right back at the massive pattern. 275. So we do have some things that are developing, I guess, but no confirmation. That is still a trending creature, but we're still under, we're still with this. We're still, since that top in 2024, it was amazing. 14 all the way now 265. You got to break out of here. That's the difference. A couple others. Yeah, Link. Yeah, let's finish up on those two. Again, Link is another one. Link is one where it did the crazy type 1, type 2. And I didn't think it would ever come back to 9. I did not think. I said that XA level and that Gartley, because we were up at 20 bucks roughly. Remember this is where we left Link. Okay, last time we were dealing with Link, and what we were looking for was a type 1 reaction to 19 at a minimum, which was there. And on the bar that it hit, there's the T1 dollar sign. Crazy. And then finally, goes all the way back to 9. That was the low. I would still be looking at that, even if it is a legit type 2. I would need confirmation. You're oversold on the weekly chain link, and you're probably going to get a dot in a few weeks, but it's going to be over here. Again, we're still early with this. You're still under the downtrend. These are the kind of things where if you try to go on that, you're going to be early. And you're going to go through a lot of time and drawdown, lower prices before you even get the trigger. It would kind of like being, trying to take a long here. It'd be trying to take a long like down in here or down in here before you really got the dot and the confirmation to send it. But all of that's somewhere around 17. Again, some of this stuff is, it's just going to need more time. Dash was the other one, kind of like it was thinking about Zcash. Nice. There's the daily. Type 2. Look at that. Type 2 crab. We talked about that last time. Again, don't have anything right now. And I'll be straight up of saying down here, I know we've looked at that pattern before. And it did nothing for the better part of 8 months until we pop off now. To do something like Zcash, you got to be above 72, 73. Probably the best part of this setup. Forget the big flush out, but this still fits in with the kind of thing I'd be looking for, where you get a bearish pattern, something spikes off the low. You might not get that. You might not be able to detect that, but you can sure detect the spike. Gives you a pattern and then goes to target 1. And we've seen this time and time again where the target 1 and then the return fails. Those are some of the best explosion trades. Don't have too many of them just yet. but keep an eye on that. I mean, if you see something, I would say on a 4-hour, you're assuming this thing to do Zcash style moves. Nothing really here. Maybe the last thing was this dot around $40. Go dot to dot, but I think maybe look at Monero. What was the other one? Compound. I think Compound was the other one where kind of sitting there, not doing anything. Big flush out. What is, I think there was something here on Compound. Maybe not. Maybe not. Weekly oversold, but come back to that really quick, guys. Cardano, just for those that are interested, stuck here at 67. The number is 55. And Cardano, depending on the exchange, got flushed to 27 cents. I mean, this is, I think Coinbase, I don't know, maybe they patched over some of their data. Cardano, another bullish pattern, okay, where it's a type 1 bat, shark the bat, the shark is a type 2, but I would just look at that as a reaction. It's something like this for now. 59. Let me get Binance Coin. There you go. Bitfinex, whatever. One of those lesser exchanges. Not lesser, just, lower volume. You had the shakeout. Don't know. I mean, again, the whole thing with Cardano is you will be in a downtrend for a long time. I mean, a long time. Again, this is the opposite of bullish trend. This is, bearish trend to bearish, just getting squashed. LCX coin, again, you must have a large position. I get it. There's a bat pattern at 11 cents. Today you've got the dot. Maybe you are to the right here. Yeah, to the downtrend. That's not too bad. I mean, really, that's not too bad. In terms of recovery possibilities, beautiful pattern to the right of this downtrend going back a year. All right, there very well could be possibilities. Bring that up on Thursday. It's still early, but today could generate the dot on the daily. And then maybe, target 1, target 2 kind of a thing. But that's not bad. I mean, guys, I would love to be able to offer up, things like XLM from a year ago, but they're not developing. GRT, look at that, flush to 4 cents, all-time lows. There's nothing to fish for. Nothing to fish for on that. Even if I go back and, yeah, there you go. There's the GRT all time. And there's just nothing here. Sorry. Really, you're sideways, go nowhere. I see what you're getting at. Maybe there's a pattern you're generating on your software, but where is it happening? Is that within an uptrend? Or are we at all-time lows? We're at all-time lows. Again, the thought here, if we just treat it straight up and just say, okay, that flush out crash candle is for real, is still going to be like this. We're type 1. Go to target 1. Notice we're not going above target 1 that much, even as devastating as that flush crash, whatever was, we're still target 1. And if we were going to be a real strong pattern, we'd come for target 2. And until that happens, no thanks. I mean, that's the difference. There's a big difference between something like this and BNB in the crypto space. Scott, what's up, Neil? Out of all the AI of the alts and crypto, what is the biggest potential for biggest gains over the next 3 months? I don't know. I really think it's about which ones are not scraping all-time lows. We've looked at AIOZ before, and any kind of massive pattern or whatever just yielded a hard reaction, and that was it. Here's AIOZ again. And we're back at 20 cents for like the fourth time over the last 2 years. I'd love to say long all those patterns, but we just keep making them at lower lows. Maybe we get a reaction down here, and maybe you get some kind of type 1 move. I'm looking at things like that, things like FET, and I showed you guys Tau. The rest of them, there isn't a lot. I mean, Stacks, remember all these names a year or two ago? Look at that. All these that were supposed to be something, what have they done? Especially since that top 2024. And that's amazing. Look at Stacks. So Stacks all time right back for another 886. But we're still here. The truth is, we're still in all of these downtrends like that. So I think more so than looking for bottom feeders like that, we have to wait for almost obvious trending reversal situations to develop. Otherwise, you're in here for a long time. This hasn't done anything. You're lower than you were back in January, February, those lows. And you made the lows 10 days ago, and you haven't rebounded. I don't know. Do you have a symbol? Do you have something that is trending? Something that has progressed? Because even the other stuff, I mean, someone's asking for Doge here. Doge is, is this it's on a long-term uptrend? Think so. It got flushed to, well, there you go with the Coinbase cover-up of whatever that flash crash was. There you go. So there's Binance weekly. Doge did some kind of full 886 off the July low, but at best that's still a type 1. I know that's not AI, but this is at least has more progress than most AI for sure. I think it might have tried to break this recent uptrend, but any of those AI that we were looking at, AGIX was the other one. Either they never gave us the kind of confirmation we were looking for, or they did an impulsive reaction move, recovery move like this. That's textbook recovery material. All-time 886 was rejected. Think of it this way. If that was like a bat pattern, this is AGIX, just kind of like running through what are the possibilities for AI crypto. 886 was right there, really close. So then what? 618, target 2-ish. Like there's a 618. No confirmation. That's 95% of crypto, guys. Big move, 20 cents to $1.40 and then right back down. Doesn't go price discovery. Doesn't give you much. And that we could do others. Yeah. One or two more. SUI. Yeah, that was, remember the waiting for that to do the 5-0? And this and Hyper are all supposed to be kind of like the next thing. There you go. SUI, what'd it do? We were thinking retest target 1. Instead, all the way back to the shark. Now it's 2. With some confirmation. All right. You're not catching 2, but maybe we catch the confirmation at 250 if this is really going to go. Has to hold $2. And you go on the weekly like this. Again, this is supposed to be a new, typically, if this was like a 2020 cycle, we'd already be doing 3618. So this is trending, absolutely, but this is really challenging the prior inflection. Should not be breaking under that low. If this is going to be something that goes full price discovery, one more wave. Yeah, I just, look, there's a bunch of stuff like this happening that had a big, wind knocked out of it. We're just going to have to go into looking for daily, weekly confirmation. Sui has this bat pattern. I'm a little skeptical of it because of how it got there, but I'll still respect the levels. The immediate level is say, hey, that's a type 1. It needs a retest. You're 260, but we still get a type 2 off the bat. I'm going to demand it. If I have a type 2 and it's got confirmation, then I know I'm dealing with something. If I'm in between some area with the way trying to go long and it's not a confirmed signal, I'm taking another risk for a flush down or a retest. Mandatory retest. Look, other things are setting up. Check out MicroStrategy, guys. I think this is something where on the daily, check out this. It's a great pattern on MicroStrategy. Beautiful. What's the problem? No confirmation on the retest. There's the 1, there's the 2. So I'm going to watch MicroStrategy closely, very closely. I didn't get anything on HSI. Amplify did. All right. The best thing that could happen here with a non-confirmation type 2, it's not going to go until we get really above that 50 level. That's another day or two. I'm going to say you're still consolidating here. And if we don't get confirmation, then at best I would say just a target 2. Target 2 or some kind of overbought signal. In the short term, it's setting up for that next kind of reaction reversal higher. Longer term, though, MicroStrategy here at the weekly level, another dot. We talked about why the 300 level was critical. You had major support back in March. I would say the whole thing is there. You're looking for that now. And that's a weekly chart. If this is going to hold, we're going to make that next push. Trend is going to continue. It's here, guys. And it's on the close of the week, 297. All right. That's one major development. At least, you have some things where pattern and weekly oversold. We probably need a few more days. Think of it like this, the T2 window. Usually T1 is like 1 to 3, 3 to 5. T2 windows are like 5 to 10. Like 10 bars. We could go sideways. Here it was hit 1618. By the next one, you're already doing the inflection. It's a big number, 297. That's the 1618 correction off of the July, crazy move to 440. But that's it, that's my problem is we don't have confirmation. What I like about it, you do have a nice pattern. You got earnings coming up next week, guys. So I think this whole area is still in play. I'm not ready to jump on that, but I'm watching it. You need to see more patterns develop like that. We've got stuff like Clean Spark, okay? Did the massive move up to 23. Can we get a pullback? I mean, we've been talking about it since really August, doubled, more than doubled off of that last signal and the breakout. All right, went to, what was that, 20, almost 24? Couldn't get above that pattern. That's still the make break for the whole move, but this is going to give us the next place to jump on. Let it come back in. You know, it's going to be, I'd say you're 19. You know, the dot that formed yesterday is like 21. Can we get something like this? Get oversold and then a larger rebound, because the weekly chart for this and Mara are building. Here's weekly. There you go. Big weekly patterns looking left. We've seen a lot of these larger patterns take time. It is a type 2. 2842 is still the number for clean spark, guys. What about like a 4-hour? We'll get there. We'll get another, we might get a dot maybe tomorrow. But this has provided a number of spots to jump on and ride the continuation. I think we're pretty close. Mara is the other one. Again, Mara finally busting out. That was a 2. Yeah, you're 2150. You're capped for now, but bring it back to like 17, 18-ish. And Mara is trying to break out too. This is important, like CleanSpark. We've seen these be stuck in the long-term downtrend range. There's a daily. Too many things. Let me just weekly or monthly remove all the lines. Okay, because you're trying to get out of this long-term basing phenomenon, do full recovery. You're closer. It does remind me of CleanSpark. CleanSpark bottom at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 started to go. I'd be watching this. Mara, Riot was the other one. I think if we can get a hard enough pullback and they trigger. Yeah, Riot was the better one with that weekly bat. We're overbought. Look, we doubled. We have doubled in a short period of time. This summer, it doubled. Pull back. 4-hour, what do you got? Maybe back 18-ish. What else? Yeah, we're in a pause, guys, but I would be embracing whatever pullback. We get the next oversold level, kind of like what we had in August. Couple more. I'm segueing over to stocks. Nasdaq's off 25 points. So today's it's not a big day. All good though. What's up? Metaplanet. Yeah, I brought that up last week. And it's a good example of great pattern, but it's not ready. It has to form that confirmation. Here's the weekly. We're probably, I said this last week, maybe 3 weeks away. If we get a green candle this week, a green candle next week, then we can start looking at levels inside of this larger zone. I would think the precise zone is HSI trigger at 413. This prior low at 265. And let's just, shave it down. 260 to $3. Still not ready. Why? Because this thing could go sideways for a while. Can we break out? Again, remember CleanSpark. And CleanSpark spent weeks, if not a few months. Every time it got hit by the downtrend, it came back into the zone. Same deal. I think maybe we get it next week with a breakout. This is flat out. All right. If you're new to harmonic patterns and you see a pattern like that, your first instinct is like, wow, this is amazing. I've been waiting to buy this meta planet since I missed it all the way back here from $1 to 14. And maybe you just jump, I'll just buy it right at 460. That's not how it works. I would start looking at it. Hold on. There you go. Get back here. I would start looking at this at 460. Hold on. Let's do this way. There you go. All right. But we need confirmation. You also need kind of internal development. This is HSI. And that's been oversold up until about, 10 days ago. When we get above the 50, that's a go sign. Okay, that's like first validation. What it really says is the internal price behavior is actually starting to give you a turnaround. But it's not there yet, and I would even say it's next week as well with amplified to get out of the zone. 292 now. XA is 461. I'm thinking right now it's probably around 3 because if you do get that confirmation, we should have that check back. Let me get really big. This is the process. And this is why we've designed that indicator early. You've got the zone. Now we pinpoint it in the zone. There's the arrow. We have to retest that. Why? It's a divergence. Usually the last push down where internal strength gets stronger, but the price nominally goes to new lows, and then we can't push it any further. That's what that should be. 265 is the low, 292. Give me one, give me two. Green candles. And that second candle might even not come in until 350 or 4. So you might say, well, why not just buy it now at 294? Because I don't know. I have to see that development. And for me, that's always been the signal. And then we get two greens. Not just one, but two. There's something about it. Because by the time you hit that third candle, when you have two, the chances to get that 3 to trigger it, a lot better. But we're really close. And that's a mega pattern, guys. And how many of these mega patterns have we seen? I do like it. I'm going to feel better about it next week. But we've seen them. Like here's LAC. And a lot of these should be kind of looked at in this regard here. The monthly, well, weekly and monthly for LAC. But there's the monthly. Okay, remember that? Meta planets, just like LAC here. You know, LAC was $4, 398, and we went to a low of 222. There's the dot. There's confirmation. And that's a monthly chart, guys. But look where it comes out. And this is critical. This is part of the stuff I'm going to do 2 weeks from Thursday. I have a kind of a special session. The pattern completed here. It was all the way back in February, but we really didn't break out until October. Price didn't move for 6 months. It actually went down. That's why we do it that way. And now making progress. I know we were 10 and now we're 7, but target 1 is still it. And that's Metaplanet. Metaplanet, on the weekly chart could take a few more bars. But I kind of like what's happening there. A couple more. Mitch Ray in the house. What's up, Mitch Ray? Man, time flies, right, brother? How are you doing today? Mitch Ray in the house, please. Mitch Ray wants to look at Rivian. What's going on? Mitch Ray looking at Rivian at a pivotal spot. New purple diamond indicator. What is that? That just, look, the purple diamond is like a stamp, guys. I'm still using the yellow dot as like the price trigger. You want the exact bar, it's yellow dot, but a purple diamond behind it definitely helps. Now we have a higher level here, 13 area. That's daily. The weekly, I don't know. We need a new high, Mitch. I see what you're getting at, and I like the start of this. Okay, I do like the start of that. We really need a new high to be full recovery. Mm-hmm. What was your other one? Yeah, RDW, Redwire Corporation. Weekly. Yeah, that looks like a bat to me. Do we get a bat on the daily? Maybe it's a daily bat. Sure did. Where is that's at $8? Eight what? 39? I need another. I would need another trigger. I would need another bullish oversold. We're not there yet. Why? Because it kind of has some dud behavior to it. Ideal, I'll say this. I mean, if we had a pink diamond there, that would have been super ideal. But you had a couple of things where all of that at $8, and then look, double dot. That thing should have gone to target one. And what happened? You do the reaction, you run into a couple of things, and the other aspect that if people, especially new folks, listen, guys, the patterns create a price window. At the completion, we're looking for 30 bar. Okay, that's our minimum date time allowed. 30 bars, whatever time frame. This is a daily chart. So we had lots of progress. Looked like we were going to target one, and then dumped all the way back down. I mean, at that point, you probably just sitting on it, or you get scratched out because it breaks the trend line. Where it is now, I need to see another oversold. It's kind of like that, and then we'll trickle down into. It got to get oversold down here. I'm demanding more and more the dot, the diamond, kind of just an additional confirmation. That's the bottom indicator for the diamond. I mean, again, look, the diamond came in a strange place, barely off of the zone, but look, the whole move that it did went nowhere and got oversold pretty quickly, and then back down. The other one was Bull. Yeah, Bull, man, Bull's the other one that's been really frustrating, and I've been sitting on that for a while. You've got this Gartley here. You still need a dot for the bigger turnaround, but it's all there. I mean, the number is at like 11:15. It's a Type 1 Gartley. And look, we're almost at the 50 today. So let's look at that on Thursday. I mean, that's a great one. You're in that 3 to 5 window for sure. You need to turn really fast. At least get back to 14. What a joke. A lot of stuff there, though. A couple more. Klarna. That's an IPO, right? 886. You probably need to give that more time. Yeah, that came out on it was like a Robinhood allocation I saw on this. I almost took it. I know what this is. You're oversold, but I need a pattern. I mean, let it do its thing. It comes out IPO hype. I need to see some more development. This is just clearly trending down. Couple more. We looked at BTC to start the show today, guys. Really needed to see that BTC back at 117, 118. Bullish. What do these guys do? Technology services. Another IPO came out earlier this year. Yeah, that I need did we get anything on the daily? No. Another one. Okay, guys, this is just a kind of a software tip. We have no pattern, but look, the indicators on themselves to give you a clue of whether are we up or down, are we overbought, oversold, working really well. This is an IPO that got slammed coming out on the kind of the initial public offering, all the insiders dumping. Then you get a reaction, but not huge, and you get overbought really quick. You know, diamond and dot, and look at that's exactly the best application, the way to respect those signals. It's on a daily chart. Big reaction up, you get overbought pretty quickly here, and then this is the divergence phase where once you get that dot, that's go time of saying that's it, go back for a deeper retest. This is oversold now, but like back here, we're going to need a few more days. I would even say this has got BAT written all over it. X. B's at a 55. C right at a 70, and then give me an 886. Yeah. 51. 51. That could still come together with the dot. One or two more. I got to get to gold because we're off 200. I think one of the biggest down days. PayPal frustrating you? What's up, Andrew? I hope you're having a better day. Just by looking at it here. Again, are we trending or not? This has been my, I was in that for a long time and it never got going. That was last year. And then this year, kind of a dead duck. Sideways. Yeah, after all of that, 66. And amazingly, we did the one, and then we clipped the type 2 at 79. So target 2 was hit. Yellow dot was yesterday. Maybe for the first time. And there's your weekly. Amazing, they put in a bat right off the low, and they knock it down for a T1. I think you'll get back for the return, which is 84 and a quarter on the weekly. It's just, yeah, you're gonna be waiting. Got to get amplified. Could be next week, but you have to get a bullish candle breakout literally next week. That has to happen first before the price even goes. Amazing what that has done, though, which is nothing. Couple more. It did make Bull made the 886. I'm gonna watch. I think Bull's a little early. Upstart is not, guys. We talked about this last week. There's your weekly. There's Mitch. Take a look at Upstart, man. Upstart is daily. Remember this? It was a couple of things. Gartley and a shark. I know this was a shark also. But the number was 46. Confirmation on the daily was 40. Yeah, the 46 was from back here. Confirmation on Upstart is like 49, 50-ish. That's a target one. That's a type 1. Those were a couple of the ideas from last week we pulled up. That should be a nice type 1 now to 62.86. Book it. You heard it here first. There was a few in that list. On Semi was the other one in that 46-ish, now 55. It was a big return move, right? Off of, here it is. This crab, retest, 46, and then now we go back, we're 55. You'd have to blow that out. Like if ON's going to really do something, give it a day or two. It should blow through here. Are we close? No. Not overbought yet, but that would be against this pattern. There's something here on the weekly too. The weekly is a type 2 as well. Forgot to mention that. So watching 56, that's the number. You got to get above 56. We'll be here Thursday. We better be trading 58. If you're not, then probably a dud for now. Probably not fully ready. There are a bunch of these that are like this on the downtrend. Difference here, again, that's like clean spark, guys. I keep coming back to that clean spark example. The pattern forms underneath the trend line. It's a 1 and a 2 kissing the top end of that downtrend. That's a pretty good setup. Couple more. PYUSD. Let's do crypto. I went through the bulk of crypto. Most of it's just not there yet. Let's go to gold quite quickly, guys. Gold is down, I think, the most ever today. 230 at one point. And what is up here? I think it's important to highlight this. And with Mitch in the house, I got to show him something. Mitch, we have canaries. There are these canary patterns that are, they're pretty interesting. But right now, look, for that monthly chart, ever since we busted that 1618, remember that? 1618 was 3,100 on that, something like that. And we go full 2618, which was like 4,100. And then you go all time, just so we have numbers, because there are a lot of numbers. This 4,150, 4,300 could be a big inflection for now before we go higher. These one-day big kind of turnarounds, you failed to break out the all-time new high. But the intraday action is acting like it's knocking and failing. There's the all-time 2618. That's like 4,200. I'll stick with 4,150, guys, as the first extreme target. I'll get to silver in a second because that's even better. So, absolutely crazy run. I would be, I said I was getting concerned last week. Like if gold wanted to go straight to 5,000, and then I would say there's some kind of problem. 236. Can we get a 236 like 3,500? I think that could happen pretty quickly. If we're right about the 2618, and then we get one of those extreme all-time like 236 pullbacks, I would just it'd still be looking to project higher. Have some kind of extreme pullback, go again till we get to that 5. I think 5,500 was the top end measured level for this. If we're going to have an all-time parabolic move, 3618, it's at 5,400. If go here on the daily, there you go. Yeah, look, this deep crab is not the best because it was overshot, and really there's no confirmation up here. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's interesting because there's no ideal confirmation. Not in the zone, but I'll still. I think this could come back for. It's going under 4K. I think let's go 38, maybe 3650. You heard it here first. I'm ready to call that for now. I did think that 43, 4150 was a top end. 4150 is the measured level. So let that happen. Maybe it's time for Bitcoin to shine because look at the XAU BTC. I mean, that's been remarkable. And what happened is we hit target 2 off of the shark. Not the cleanest of stuff, but again, I mean, it's amazing. This is kind of a skewed chart because you go back years and it was, you were talking that spread was, it's really tough to give a lot of credence to this that ratio. Look, there's the all-time. And you just keep going up and up. I mean, the XAU Bitcoin spread as Bitcoin just skyrocketed, it gives you some perspective on, okay, really? Gold Bitcoin, can we really glean a hell of a lot from that other than maybe some immediate concerns? So look at it like that. 4-hour time frame. For now, we'll probably get another dot down here. But really, since the last couple of dots that we've seen, I guess 4-hour even daily, it's, that's what's been driving gold. Silver, guys. So silver, that did get overbought. And silver is probably going to give you one of the best accelerated setups soon at a 382. So we looked at the 886 a week ago, projecting a bat. It was SLV, it was silver futures. We were two prices. It was 886 and 1618. There's 886, guys. 52, 60, 53 bucks. Now 48. What do? Look for, I'm going to say 236 first. That's a minimum objective, but 382, like if that was a bat, and it is, 236 is like 45-ish or 47, but a real 382 would be a healthy correction, healthy retracement, like flush it. What is that? Like 39 bucks, and then go again. Look, silver, I think you want to be planning for an eventual price discovery move after we digest the 886. And the 1618 is a lot higher, but for now, we ran right into that right into that 886. It's phenomenal. Here, the bat up to the 886, automated patterns galore. Okay, and then look, the back-to-back bat here, X, A, B, C. Come on, C. And then D to the 886. It's here. I'll show you it. I have the pending patterns off. So if you guys want to see that, click pending or potential, and then it'll come up. There it goes. Software already been generating it for a while. So look for that. Just reaction though to come off. And it's going to be after the retracement where we're going to have that trend line pullback. And I'll start looking at mining stocks. We talked about that last time. I think what's going to happen is you're going to get a lot of those miners to do a harder retracement throwdown and then go again. And that's like I said first, Majestic Silver. That's probably it for now. That's a monthly. Yeah, look, there's the daily. CDE. They've all peaked out for now. Let's hope they get thrown down super hard. I still say that's like a first thrust move because these have not done anything for years until this year. Hold on. Need to let that all get oversold. Clearly trending lower for now. Where's weekly? Yeah, weekly's done. So, yeah, there you go. I mean, all of this is just from April. We'll get a higher level, but it'll be later. The metal trade is done for now, guys. And we probably go into like a 30-day spin cycle until November. And then seasonal time, seasonally bullish time, November, late November, December, January, into February, we get that return move. All right, bunch of these. The SLV ETF, same kind of a thing. They're all mimicking. That's got a butterfly. All hit the 886, do 382. Triple digit silver by the summer. I'm not going to say triple digit silver. What I'm this is I don't okay when I talk about patterns, guys. I don't like to jump too far ahead because I think it then leads people down the wrong path of just assuming that something's going to happen just automatically. But I let me just kind of theorize, strategize, what could very well happen. I was mentioning to Mitch, we get a lot of these patterns that are either doing their 886 or they bust through the all-time high like this, have a reaction, like a 382, something like that, and then they bust out. And that is what we should be looking for. An all-time 1618, again, on silver, on this move that literally started back in 21 is something I would be planning, but not here. I mean, literally in the last 48 hours, all right, we hit the top there. We hit those 886, complete rejection, and I'm just let that fall. And I think it's under 40. I think it's still another 10, 15% lower, and then it gets you back to where you were 3 weeks ago. All right, we will get. That's kind of like the end of the first thrust. We'll get a bigger move to come. Like a lot of those, we'll just let that get oversold on the daily. I mean, August was perfect, like that. And then another oversold signal there, 4-hour chart. As for gold, again, I think that one, we get that back to 3,500. That would be a big number. GLD, guys, here, just amazing. It was up like 60% for the year recently. Did we hit that? We hit okay, so check it out. GLD on the weekly had this bat, and we just hit the 3618, guys. Did we? What's that, like 420, 415? Almost. I look, the measured level of the 3618, that's our maximum upside. The 2618, that's a minimum consideration. You're well beyond that, but it is the ballpark range, no doubt. I mean, we're 325 basically to 3 to 400 would be an overspill kind of move, but you only spend a few bars up here. You're especially because this is so you're projecting a 15-year extension. So maybe you are 2 or 3 bars out of the whole move up here. That's it. That's what I'd be watching. We hit the target, 3618, really close, but was not clipped. But a pause inside of this whole range, yeah. And we've hit the maximum measured levels. There's a reason why 3618 is maximum upside, and once that gets hit, I said that with Bitcoin, I'll say it with gold. It's not going to spend a hell of a lot of time up at those levels if we're going to react off of it. And I would say watch the monthly close. The 314 for gold, loves that number. That's 372. So the gold trade, longer term, is a great play. Right now, it's completely overdone. We need to let that come in. Let that retrace. And I'm talking like a 382. I'm talking gold back GLD, more like 350, 3.25. All right, that's a big change, guys. I've been just pounding the table, running that flagpole all the way up the tree, chasing this thing just higher, higher, higher. I'm pretty happy with the levels we've hit for now. And I would not be looking at any new long opportunity until we do this larger pullback. Really quick, I didn't even get to the QQQ and the SPY. And, the big deal of what happened last week is a 1 day nothing burger. Down 900 and then just, Qs were down, 15 that day? Down 21. Big flush out and go again. So why not? Scratching all-time new highs right here, right now. What happened to October? No correction. That's our year, guys. That's just amazing. This is our year so far. Started out around, 514. Now we're 615-ish. Up generally 100 points. There's your 20%. Are we doing any kind of year-end run? Because we're at, you go back, same type of deal. You go back to the 2022 correction. All right, we're almost at 2618 levels, which is 630, and I'm still going to play for that. I'm still saying that's our short-term minimum into the end of the year. I will be looking closely for some overbought signs as we get into December, because we could very well top out or start to top out. In principle, people are looking to sell, take the gains early. That's going to be a thing come January. Where's the sign? Where are the overbought signals? Where's the bearish patterns? Bearish levels. They're still higher. And S&P 500, that's, the SPY is a 700 creature. And we're, off the 2020 low, or 2022, low. We're getting close to our 2618 is right there. It's 689, 690. So if we treat the whole 2022 cycle projections much like gold, we're starting to get up there. And that's been our target since the beginning of the year. 70, it was like 705, 720-ish. Maybe that takes us to January, but I'm pretty good with that, with us getting there by January, and then we go to some kind of pause. Tesla, guys, earnings coming up. We looked at that a little bit. I'm watching the bigger pattern, okay? It's a type 2 on the weekly. Let's see what earnings give us. It's tomorrow. All right, but I think we still have to check back. We would need a dot, so that's higher. We tag 455 maybe tomorrow. But I'm happy to see this return be completed, even if we get into a retracement phase off of this retest. Just watch it. My only question is it 444 here, or is it a run to 500 first? We'll really know come earnings, but I don't have a dot. I would still say this is still higher, and I'm favoring some kind of overspill move. Get up to 488 retest. Where's the daily here? Daily's like that. So daily's got some other patterns as well. Back at 457-ish. But still higher. I think that's kind of the play here. Maybe tomorrow we tag 457 and that's it. And then you go into a correction or a retracement. Sorry. I love this thing longer term. I like what it's done since the recovery. You're not going to get it straight off. Maybe it's something like this. Retrace and then set it up for a larger move. They've had to work on it, and you're not in price discovery. That's still the case. All right. Listen, let's give away one more before I get out of here. HPC 30, guys. Type HPC 30 in the chat. You want to get 30 days to the software, and then send me your full name, TradingView username, and email address. Everyone else that wants to get a 2-week trial, get it now so that you're ready and set up for our session 2 weeks from Thursday. Okay? Get the 2-week trial set up now, and then get to the session in 2 weeks. We'll do an open strategy session November 6th. But get with your TradingView username. Send it to HPC at SR-Analyst. And then I'll have kind of a new package deal. Anybody that's wants to subscribe and get with the gold membership, again, best place is to DM me if you got questions, you want a longer trial. Because get over the learning curve. Because once you crack the learning curve, again, it's all here. And I recognize that. Go to harmonictrader.com and become a basic member. Just register now. There. And review the materials, please, especially new folks. A lot of people trying to jump right in because I know they're seeing a lot of things. But take the time. Review the videos. I uploaded the most recent video. Check out the books. And even like the cheat sheets and stuff. All available there. But take the time. Okay? And get to me on the questions. Anything there. Great. What's up? SBCA. SB. Scott, Bob, Charlie, Angelo. SBCA. You win. Send me that. Everyone else that's got a question, you want to get to me over on Discord. Send me a note. One or two more. What do you guys have? Give me something really spicy. Spicy. Something that we haven't seen before. I will. I'm looking at a couple spicy things here. Where is the... Sorry about that. What was it? I'm looking at this. I'm looking at some OTC stocks, guys. And, the quantum play, here's quantum emotion. I'm looking at this. This might be getting away. I brought this up before. Look at that chart. It's an amazing breakout. I'm not saying, I'm waiting on a pullback to buy more of that. I think I brought this up back in September. There's a few of these that have really developed quite nicely. LAES is the other one on a pullback here. Where is that? Was that the one? No. Do one other one here. LAES, that was the other one. What in the qubits? D-Wave, those are doing a pullback here. And I think they're getting close. Yeah, oversold. Got to give that another day or two, but that might be done really soon. The other one. Was it HIMS? I think HIMS was the other one. The daily down here. It was one of these high-flying stocks that just registered a big oversold. What do you guys have? IQ? That's a pretty good one. I did see that. No, the one I was looking at Path and looking at UI. I don't know that one, but all right. Give me a dot here at T1. Here's a Path. Things that are, yeah, it's already, that one got away. That or UI. Yeah, those are too far gone. Too far gone. DJT. Now, are you talking the Trump or are you talking transports? There's DJT Trump. All the way back XA level. I see what you're saying, but you need something to the right of that downtrend. Now, while I'm on it, transports, the transport index we haven't looked at in a while, like that. Okay, we need some kind of breakout to get the rest of this market moving, because look at the transports, guys. You really have an interesting kind of dichotomy of what's happening here. You've got NASDAQ, S&P absolutely ripping. The transports are still below the 2002 high by a lot. Failed the bat from back in December. I mean, this is a pretty telling chart. And I'm looking at that because if you really want to get this thing to blast, and I mean stuff like the Russell, can that break out? Russell's like this. Hold on. You need the market to start to spread out, broaden out. Small caps, all of it. Russell literally just hit weekly dot. You're in this zone. What needs to happen is an absolute bypass. You're 247. I need to see that above 256 by the end of the year to fail it. You're up here at multi-year high. And look, this is pretty interesting that progress, you go back 3-4 years on those indices. Have we really gone that far? Or is this just a tech crazy kind of move? And then industrials, they need to continue as well. That has to be kind of a your 456 hop level is where you should start looking, but there's no confirmation. This needs to be kind of a smash breakout, go 1618 as well. Basically, no check back. You're looking for this to move higher now. After what happened 2 weeks ago, that's a 1 week thing within this longer term trend. I would say, the whole uptrend scenario, your support is that low, and we should continue this into the end of the year. Like 6, 8 more bars, weeks higher. And we're nowhere near oversold. That's when you stack this stuff together. Okay, markets still they haven't registered overbought yet. Some of them haven't reached minimum 1618s yet. So you've come a long way. You still have a little further to go. And if we're going to really get a bigger move, the rest of these have to develop now. I mean, we have reached, you go to the SOX. Okay, the SOX did everything we wanted to see it do on the monthly, blast through the hop level, and you're looking for that to simply explode. If that's what we're going to get to, we're going to go into a longer term accelerated trend on the monthly that stays up there. And I would say it's a lot like what we had back in 2020. And then you were up for 6 or 8 more months. Every time that we've been up here, guys. And this is good too. You go to these big overbought readings. Once they get overbought, that's actually where we accelerate. And literally this month we made big progress into that overbought. And I think that's a good sign. That's not a bad sign. That tells us we want to accelerate now and do the continuation now. Don't have to worry about it until really we have the inflection out and we break 50. We're so far from that it's just stacked up to make the continuation move now. I don't know. It's impressive. That's definitely impressive. One or two more. What's up, Thales? With the MindMed, I saw that. A lot of people talking about that. I'm that's one of these tech plays. Isn't that like the magic mushroom thing? There were some patterns down here. These smaller tech style plays, they're going to look like this. You know, you're going to go through a whole basing phase. Not a heck of a lot. I can't say that's trending. It's turning around. It's recovering. I can't really give you much on that. Yeah, the weekly is like that. There is a pattern that's at 13. The confirmation was all the way down here at 274. That's a tough one. One or two more, guys. KHC, why? I know. I think we talked about that one last time. This is another one of these old economies that they just haven't done anything. It's like Dr. Pepper and all of them, Whirlpool, all of these. They're all like this. And even just from a old economy perspective of saying, hey, this a company that builds things, you know, maybe there's a play. It's like this, guys. It's 8-9 years down. And you can't really expect much from that. And here's Whirlpool. And look at Whirlpool. Look at that monthly. That's beautiful, but not until we have some confirmation. You know, we've been down since 2021. We literally hit target 2 on that bat. Amazing. But I with all type 2s, I need confirmation. So that could be literally bar 1. And then you could go spend the next 5 to 10 months sideways here. But a lot of what we've been looking at, okay, is the opposite. We're looking at, we want things that are trending, retrace, give an inflection at a higher level, continue, and that's not this. That's a monthly chart. Again, be selective. Really be selective with a lot of these, or you're going to be just sitting sideways for a while. Yeah. One or more. I got to get out of here, but I'll give you that one. Chevron, I think, is interesting. Done nothing. All the way up here forever. What does it do? I've been thinking about these oil stocks a lot, and I still say oil is lower. Something like this, it's just begging for 127. It's 154. There's no movement here unless you want the dividend. Okay, and that's just what you're looking for. That's pretty much the deal with this. And you're printing a lot of bearish patterns. XLE was the one I couldn't remember last time. And this has done nothing. Roll over at these bearish patterns. But that's not moving. You want the 2%, 3% dividend. 3%, 3.3%. That's it. So crude oil, no. Nat gas, no. The only thing that I like in this energy space is the solar. Solar ETFs, probably the best way to go here. Yeah, monthly bat pattern at 29, and this has got target 1 written all over it. Solar has already started that return move. How high? Is this just a reaction? We'll see at 64. 63.90. But yeah, there's a pattern. And again, how many months it took before it even gave you the inflection? 3 or 4 minimum. It's the same kind of deal with a lot of this longer. Look, you're hit 2, 3 before you even moved. Now it's, you got something to go on here. Geez, I could go forever, guys. It's a great session. We really got into it. A lot to consider. I'm still fine on stocks. We're getting there. We're getting overbought, but we're not fully there. Gold, silver, that needs a rest. Individual stocks looking for pullback, oversold conditions to really manifest over the next week and then give us something for a year-end run. And in crypto, I'm just looking at Bitcoin. That's it. Hold your head at 111, get to 118, and then let's talk Thursday. That's what I have, guys. Winners, please contact me over on Discord. Everybody else, you have any questions, get to me at Harmonic Trader or on the Discord link. Access everything here at Harmonic Trader. Okay? Any other questions, you know where to reach me. Until next time, we'll see you Thursday, 12:30. Have a great one. As always, go get them.